Velocity, money, peace, and blessings. All right, so getting straight to it, I'm gonna pretty much, you feel me, try to nutshell Mars and whatnot, right? The planet Mars in Vedic astrology, right? So Mars, it represents the willpower, actionability. What is your power? What do you want to do? What is your drive? You know what I'm saying? What is your fight? What is your goal? You know what I'm saying? What are you going after or whatever? You know what I'm saying? The power, the Shakti within your particular being. You know what I'm saying? These are in general representations of Mars. And Mars, from a general level, he's a warrior, right? He's a protector. He's a commander. He's a military man. You know, he's a fighter. He's Mars is the one with the strength, the power, the different skills, the different abilities that he can use to pretty much dominate others and to protect others, right? To kill off threats, to protect from enemies or demons or robbers or thieves or, you know what I'm saying, germs, you know what I'm saying? Whatever the fuck, whatever can be a threat, whatever can be something that can potentially harm you or something that can potentially dominate you. Mars is about killing that off, getting rid of that, protecting the system, you know what I'm saying? And also acquisition, strengthening the self, becoming stronger. You know what I'm saying? Expanding your power, your ability to control your will, your ability to go about wherever you want to go about and do whatever you want to do as you please. You know what I'm saying? These are all pretty much basic functions and expressions of Mars, right? Now, you know what I'm saying? I said he's supposed to be a protector, but again, Mars is willpower. And everybody don't necessarily have the willpower to protect. You feel me? Like everybody don't necessarily have it in them to do the right thing. So I should say, from a higher expression, Mars uses his strength to protect those that can't protect themselves. You know, he uses his strength to reinforce or enforce the laws and the structures of the reality. You know what I'm saying? So that law and order, so that peace can remain amongst, the kids that gotta go to school every day. So they don't gotta worry about bombs getting constantly dropped on their head, or so that the people in a civilization can engage in commerce. You feel me? They can engage in the normal functions of society, and they don't gotta get worried about getting shot up or planes hitting towers or Xi Jinping just pulling up and just beating niggas ass because he want to or whatever. The warriors, the commanders, the military folks, the fighters, all of the people who have the power and the ability to protect. You know what I'm saying? They are in these offices or they are in these places to pretty much make sure law is not broken, make sure society is protected, right? That's pretty much Mars in the highest expression. But you have the low expression as well. There are abusers. You know what I'm saying? There are people who just want to dominate others, want to take advantage of those who can't protect themselves, who can't provide for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Want to destroy, want to cause chaos just for the sake of causing chaos. And they're about acquisition as well, but they're about, acquiring more power and more energy, more Shakti, you feel me, more control over resource or more control over kingdoms or whatever you want to call it, right? They're about doing this thing in a wrongful manner. They're about usurping, and they don't necessarily give a fuck about law. don't necessarily give a fuck about what's right, what's the code, what's the conduct to abide by. They see themselves as so individual and as so, I guess you could say they can see the universe as sort of a field of competition. The best man wins, or the strongest man wins, or you feel me? There is no law, there is no order, there is no God, there is no governing entity, and there is no karma, there is no repercussion for, you know what I'm saying, my actions. I'm free to do what I want, and it's just about how much power and ability that I have to do that particular type of thing. Those are the ones who manifest from the lower polarities of Mars, right? The more afflicted, the more demoniac, for lack of a better expression or whatnot, right? And thinking that type of way, retaining that type of mentality, the mentality that, you feel me, oh, you know what I'm saying, this my shit, all right, you can do what the fuck you want, you know what I'm saying, you can get out, you can go outside, and you know, you can beat a motherfucker up, take his Jordans, you know, who gonna stop you? You can have that type of mentality if you want to, but that is the quickest way to spoil your Mars, and that is the quickest way to pretty much accumulate eight house type of troubles for another lifetime. And let me get back to let me start with the rulerships of Mars, right? So once again, Mars is about willpower, individual identity. He's not a guy that's too friendly. He's not the guy that wants to go out to eat to fucking Raising Canes, or you know what I'm saying, to Chipotle and order the 22 piece, you know, lemon pepper Chipotle bowl, chicken barbecue, barbacoa, whatever the fuck y'all be eating, right? That ain't make no sense. I'm understanding that made absolutely no sense at all, like whatsoever. That's crazy. Nigga said 22 piece Chipotle barbacoa lemon pepper. Like, they probably need to make that. I don't know, but anyway, Mars is not the guy that, you know, trying to go out and, you know, take selfies at Disneyland and post it on Instagram, and, you know, hugs and kisses and, you know, all of these different things that pretty much express love. What else? Amicability, gentleness, softness, emotional dependency, yada yada yada, etc., etc. He's very much a no nonsense type of guy, energetic type of guy as well. He can be a motivator. Mars can, you know, have a positive energy, or he can have an ability to be amongst others, but it's more so like people who are like brothers. You know what I'm saying? Brothers and maybe students. You feel me? Brothers and students. And it has to be people who align with his actual mission for Mars to get along. You know what I'm saying? Like a warrior, or, you know, somebody that's in the army or something. They're surrounded by soldiers, and they can get along with the soldiers, but the environment is not an easy environment at all, and it's a no nonsense type of environment, and it's not a occupation, or it's not a mission of, you know, going on ice cream dates and you feel me, just this shit like that or whatnot, right? So again, he's not necessarily a friendly guy, or he's not necessarily a softy guy. I can't find the exact word that I'm looking for, but he's not a softy guy. He's a real no nonsense type of guy, and he's really about self empowerment, self preservation, self execution. A strong Mars would be a person that's not even too much into, you feel me, having sex, or, you know, the marriage thing. Like, you can get married, you know, and to be honest, Mars is loyal, or Mars is truthful when it's healthy. You know what I'm saying? When Mars is healthy, if Mars says he'll do something or he'll abide by a particular thing or commitment, might not like it, might not necessarily bring the joy and the smiles and the heartfelt moments or whatever, but Mars will abide by that commitment if it's healthy. You know what I'm saying? Mars will abide, Mars will protect, Mars will defend, Mars will hold its word or whatnot. But when it comes to, like, I guess you could see, like, the marriage or the submissive or the compromise type of roles and things like that, Mars isn't too much a fan of that. And a truthful Mars or a strong Mars is not even gonna lie to you. Strong Mars can tell you straight up, like, you know what I'm saying, like, marriage ain't for him. That's not it's not his thing. You know, he gonna be blunt with you, and it might hurt, but that's a strong Mars will keep it real with you and tell you the truth. And what else? He's more so a guy that he doesn't like to lose power. He likes to empower himself. So even a lot of fighters, you know what I'm saying? Uh, like they while they training, while they in camp, they take camp super serious. They don't even have sex for, you feel me, for like what 5 months, 6 months. Some go the whole year. You feel me? Like they remain rigorously disciplined and focused on not weakening themselves or just pointlessly ejaculating and having sex, drinking, popping pills and all type of extra shit. It's like that's Mars. That's a good Mars in action. A person who is not seamlessly allowing different entities, energies, and substances pull and nip off of his energetic structure or off of his energy, off of his makeup and whatnot. Allowing different things to grasp at his attention and pull his attention away. Different foods, just experiment with different women. You feel me? Just giving his semen and his money too. Like a strong Mars is able to maintain a straight and narrow type of focus, to tunnel vision, and to be celibate or refrain from a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? What else? And Aries, I ain't even gonna lie, Aries in a way can showcase celibacy at times for some reason, just the sign itself. And when it comes to Aries, Aries is the head. Aries is the wheel. Aries is the energetic baby who believes he can do anything. You know what I'm saying? Through self effort. There's no limit. The wild horse or whatever who feels unrestricted in his passions and just able to pursue whatever. Right. That's pretty much a basic description of Aries, right? But the thing about the other sign of Mars, Scorpio, which shows the other aspects of the wheel. A lot of the time, you can want to do something, or you can have the willpower to obtain a particular goal, or you feel me, a particular focus, but it's not really your goal or your focus. You know what I'm saying? Like you can want to eat the chicken chalupa double deluxe. You know what I'm saying, with the extra mayonnaise and the crumble on top of it or whatever you want to call it or whatnot, right? You can have the will to want to eat that, but at the same time, it might not even be coming from you. Maybe it's coming from a parasite, you know what I'm saying, that's in your stomach sending off signals to the brain to do this, you know what I'm saying, do that. Or another example, something that's more aligned to Mars, you might want to crash out. You might feel like you just want to be known as the greatest crash out to hit the face of the planet. You feel me? Every room you walk in, you crashing out. You feel me? You just wilding the fuck out. You stealing off on niggas. You shitting on yourself, and pulling the shit out your pants and just smacking niggas for no reason or whatnot. You can do that, and you can feel like that is your will or that is your ambition, but that just could be a worm in your fucking psyche or whatever the fuck that's, or a demonic spirit that's feeding you that type of instruction from a hidden level, got you thinking that this is your conscious decision, which is not. And I know those are very wild examples. You feel me? I know I could have probably chosen an easier example, but basically the eighth house, it shows hidden influences, hidden entities, demons, if you want to call them, hidden principalities that can inject malware into the psyche and make you believe your will, your drive, your mentality, your personality. They can make you believe some urge or something that you want to do is actually you, when it's not. It's not you. It's a deception, right? But the thing about the sign of Scorpio, it's a true testament of the willpower, because oftentimes like they say, we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and high places. You feel me? That wrestling, that war, a lot of it takes place within the eighth house. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times Mars ruling the sign of Scorpio, which is the natural eighth house of the zodiac, a lot of the subconscious impulses or seemingly subconscious impulses, or chronic illnesses and situations that might manifest, accidents, losses and things of this nature, humiliations, a lot of these things that might seem like it's just all on the individual, or the individual might be having some taboo type of urges or whatever the freak, right? A lot of those things don't even come from that one person. Like, it's coming from hidden people abusing power, trying to dominate and trying to pretty much hack or trying to take control over another person or system, right? That's another aspect of Mars. Like we was talking about the lower aspects of Mars earlier. People wanting to abuse their power. You feel me? In the eighth house or Scorpio, it can show those forces who are quite parasitic. So it's like, not only do they abuse their power, they really have no morality. They really have no code about, okay, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do that, or fight fair, fight in a respectable manner, fight with a sense of honor or truth, or whatever you want to call it. Like the eighth house, it can show parasitic beings, entities, and influences or whatever that have no code whatsoever, like demons or whatever, and you pretty much just gonna have to fight that strongly and steadfastly, strongly and rigorously. You don't have a map in the eighth house. You don't have a map in Scorpio. So you don't really know the way. You just know you have a will that's truer than the other stuff that may be flowing around in the mind, or whatever you want to fucking call it. You know what I'm saying? Then the other stuff that's trying to take you out your path. So yeah, with the eighth house, it's a real tough and it's a real arduous journey. But the eighth, it only shows previous life will in the individual that was corrupt, that might have been baggage, right? Let's just say karmic baggage, it's a dustana. And in this lifetime, you have to experience, and you're going to experience it in an intense manner, and you're just going to have an intense amount of willpower in order to overcome the complications of that particular experience. So I hope that makes sense. Like eighth house, it's a real Martian based house. It's a real house where you have to fight through, but it's really you're fighting your former self, your shadow self, right? You're fighting yourself from a previous life, manifested in this life. Not maybe it might not even be so directly. Other people can be tied to that. Other people who are actually demons, other people who are actually demonic or thieves or robbers or whatever you want to call it, parasites, hidden entities. You're fighting these things as well, but on the utmost level, this is just a previous manifestation of the self. You know what I'm saying? Like they say, the mind is all, the universe is mental. Everything that you experience within your carnation is a projection of your mind. So ultimately, it's a fight to overcome the lower self and whatnot, to purge, to detox, to destroy impure factors. And that's what Mars is about: protecting the homeland, to getting rid of the threat actors, to destroying the demons, and to maintain righteousness within the kingdom, in the ways of God, the ways of Dharma, all of these different things, yada, 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 etc., etc. Uh, what else I can say about Mars? It rules Aries, and its Mutrikon sign, is favorite sign to be in is Aries. You feel me? Because Mars is pretty much optimistic, it's jovial, it's clean. You know what I'm saying? This is a clean Mars. A Mars in Aries can have a sense of confidence and, self power about itself, to where it doesn't even care about giving into uh, abuse of others. Naturally, it might do so because Mars and Aries can be a bit arrogant. But, when you have a certain level of arrogance, most of the time, you don't feel the urge or the need to abuse others or do others in a sadistic manner or anything like that. So Mars and Aries, it's a good Mars. It's a great Mars. It gives the individual a lot of power and self-expression and a lot of natural Shakti about itself, right? Only thing is, Mars and Aries can make somebody believe they're the law, and depending upon how the rest of the chart is set up, it can showcase whether a person is a Buddha or a devil. You know what I'm saying? Buddha himself, he had Mars and Aries. You feel me? And he pretty much saw himself as God. Or he didn't necessarily bow down to the gods, but he was a very divine, accomplished, ascended master, meditator, yogi, whatever you want to call him, Buddha, right? He was that guy, Mars and Aries. The most beneficial being to humanity at that particular time in history, right? And it's people that charts that I've read, Mars and Aries, killers. I just did a lady chart. She had Mars and Moon in Aries. Uh, this is a lady that made the news. She killed 3 of her kids and whatnot. It's not funny. I didn't laugh. Yeah, she killed 3 of her kids or whatnot, right? Mars and Moon and Aries. I don't know her ascendant, but it's just to show, like, this is a sign. Or when Mars is here, it can show an individual has the capacity to treat themselves as the law and to do whatever they want to do. So again, somebody can want to become a Buddha. Buddha had an extreme amount of willpower. He had an extreme amount of drive to reach true enlightenment and self-realization. The Buddha repeatedly defied different religious systems, customs. Oh, you must do this, or you got to eat 1 grain of rice a day. You feel me? The Buddha repeatedly broke free from mental constraints, rules, limitations, societal doctrines. He even broke free from his father's program. His father made it to where the Buddha was pretty much cooped up in the kingdom, and he never got to see any form of poverty, suffering, death, and all this extra shit or whatnot, right? He broke free from that and went up on his own journey and explored as he wanted to, and that's a real Mars and a Aries type of factor, whatever, right? So again, self becomes important, but it just depends about in what way is the self important to you, right? You really want the self realization, or you want to self shit on others? You know what I'm saying? But the similar expression is the self focus, right? So that's Mars and Aries. Again, Mars and Scorpio was pretty much the self detox, overcoming lower self, past life limitations, taboo. You know what I'm saying? Doing the shadow work to reach the gold under the surface or whatnot, and to really heal those aspects of the self and purge the false aspects of the self. Right? That's the Scorpio eighth house aspect. So Mars is exalted in Capricorn. He's exalted in the 10th house, and this is where the will becomes repressed and restrained, aimed in a controlled manner. If Mars is a gun by itself, you know what I'm saying? In if Mars is a fucking, you know what I'm saying, a pistol, it's Mars in Capricorn, Mars exalted is like a sniper rifle. So it's like you're taking a force, you're taking a gun force, and you're extremely dialing, repressing, concentrating the force in on one particular target, one particular aim. You know what I'm saying? A laser focus or some sort of whatnot, right? And when you shoot off, whatever that you're aiming at, you feel me, whatever that you locked in on, becomes completely, you feel me, knocked off, obliterated. You know, you drive through the target, right? Due to the concentration, due to the velocity, due to the, the compounded force, the restrained, the constricted force being released in such a mathematical, laser like manner, right? And Mars in Cancer is, you pretty much can say like a sawed off shotgun, and motherfucker got a blindfold, and whatever sound or whatever, whatever notification, whatever alert, whatever stimulation that the person gets, you feel me, he's just shooting off. Like it's not even about really sitting and restraining or repressing or having discipline or understanding even what is around you. Like Mars debilitated can become really reactive, you know what I'm saying, and can defend himself when there was nothing to defend in the first place. For some reason it makes great for a lot of fighters. A lot of the top fighters got it. I ain't gonna lie. Fighters in different disciplines. Javante Davis, he got Mars in Cancer. I think Clarissa Shields got Mars in Cancer. Fuck, 50 Cent might got Mars in Cancer. He was a boxer. I could be lying about that. Don't quote me on that. Israel Adesanya, Lord Krishna, Mars in Cancer. Lord Krishna, you feel me, was pretty much the god in the flesh and the greatest fighter in the time that he lived. John Jones was Mars in Cancer, right? And John Jones, you feel me, was famous for, you know what I'm saying, knee shots and poking niggas in the eye. So cheating, and that can be shown by, or that type of mentality can be shown by the debilitation of Mars as well. Like, you feel me? You're not abiding by any type of code. He just has the emotion of wanting to win so bad, or wanting to dominate, or, you feel me, wanting to win at whatever cost. Like, a person can go to the length of poking or doing whatever they can just to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's John Jones has talked a lot about, you feel me, certain fears, or certain rituals that certain somewhat ritualistic processes that he's done to get over psychological, fearful limitations of fighting certain people or whatnot, right? And yeah, Mars in Cancer, it definitely has the aspect of, or the psyche of, maybe like a volatile and reactive baby. in the body of a fully grown warrior. You know what I'm saying? Uh, but yeah, I know I'm kind of all over the place with it. I'm freestyling, to be honest. So yeah, those are Mars and those four signs. I might go back in the comments to list anything, if anything comes to mind. But again, Mars is pretty much the warrior. You know, he's the guy who enforces the law, keeps the different compartments and aspects of society protected when Mars is in its highest function. In its low function, the destroyer, the one who's trying to possess or take over resource or go against the law, go against the way in order to make himself more powerful, if that makes sense. To be honest, Mars always goes against quote unquote law. Because if you got, you know what I'm saying, if it's a thing like if God made us to get along with each other, right? If God made us to be a peaceful people, or you know what I'm saying, to pretty much have coexistence in society amongst humanity, to function as a beneficial code species or whatever you want to call it, and you have people that's killing each other, you know what I'm saying? It really is always against the benevolence. One person is just doing it for a selfish purpose while the other person is doing it to protect. So, you know, it's always kind of a wrong factor to killing, but it's a truth to it as well. Like, you know, like you like nobody's really gonna freeze up or debate somebody protecting their family and maybe gunning down a 15-year-old who broke into the house, you know what I'm saying, or a threat actor of some sort. Like, you're not going to be mad at the man or the guy for killing, but at the same time, somebody died. A mother lost her baby that day, right? The mother probably got resentment or anger in her, or the father that 15-year-old probably got resentment or anger, or you know, the brothers and the sisters, and now they want to go to war. They want to get revenge. You know, they want to do something to you. You feel me? And this can perpetuate a cycle of violence going back and forth. I kill yours, or you know what I'm saying? They go over there and they kill the opposite, and they go back and kill the other opposites or whatever. It can perpetuate that cycle that leads to bloodshed, destruction, and that leads to the negative manifestations of Mars that have always been problematic to begin with, right? So it's like, it's an odd conundrum. Killing is alright, but you know, it is a means to an end and a necessity at a lot of times. And a lot of times you can have a society that, I guess you could say, that operates more in accordance with spiritual law, more in accordance with truth, more in accordance with God, more in accordance with universal harmony. But you can have another society or another group of people who don't give a fuck and just want to kill, and they can possibly or potentially end up overcoming the other society, right? But it all depends who has the most power. That's why I say Mars is truth in action. It's power. You can have the soul integrity, but a part of it is having the actual power too. You feel me? To protect your shit. You feel me? It's a weird thing. But yeah, Velocity Mooney.